The Carolina Panthers not making a trade at the trade deadline is a failure. Are you copping or dropping that it was a failure?
I am copping. I had to make sure I got my double negatives right.
Yes.
I am copping that it is a failure. During the commercial break, see, this is where I get to do a little bit of research. I'm going to list all of the teams that traded something away ahead of the trade deadline. So basically during the 2023 season. In-season trade, they moved a player in return for likely a pick. The Rams, the Bears, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Jets, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Vikings, the Titans, the Giants, and Washington. All of those teams, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams were able to turn players into value, and guess who was not? The team that is 1-6 and likely was in the most obvious position to turn players into value. The Carolina Panthers. So yes, I would say there were opportunities out there, at least 13 of them, to turn players into value, and they couldn't make any of them happen. Now, granted, some like Cam Akers going to the Vikings, that's not necessarily a straight-up trade, but the Rams also traded Van Jefferson away.
Yeah.
That could have been Terrace Marshall Jr., don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders traded away 2 edge rushers today. Maybe either of those could have been for a premium, a little bit higher price. Could have been Brian Burns.
Yeah.
Looking at some of these. Rasul Douglas, a cornerback, being traded away from Green Bay. That could have been Donte Jackson. Could have got more back for it. It seemed like there wasn't a lot of hustle from the Panthers. There were deals to be had, and they had none of them. Show me some effort. So anyway, yes, I was copping.
Next one. Because Brian Burns wasn't traded, you copping or dropping that the Carolina Panthers sign him to a long-term deal by the end of this offseason?
Gosh, I hope so. They better. Copping it. Right? Because here's the thing. With every day that passes, his value on the market in a trade goes down. Now, even if they tag him and they want to trade him in the future, it's less control for whatever team you trade him to. Mm-hmm. The fact that you haven't traded him by now, give him the money. And here's the thing. He knows what I know. He knows what I just said. With every day, his leverage is going up, and now you're past the deadline. So now, guess what he's going to do? He's going to pin his ears back during games in which they don't matter to the team because you're 1-6, and at some point in the not too distant future, you're going to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And he's just going to pin his ears back, and he's going to get 14, 15 sacks, and he's going to come back this offseason and say, did you see what Rashawn Gary got paid? I'm much better than him.
Yeah.
Montez Sweat's going to he better get a new deal from the Bears. It's not going to be cheap. And Chase Young's going to go, he's never had double-digit sacks. His career best is the lowest I've had in any of the last 3 seasons, and he just got X amount of dollars. I want 2X amount of dollars. And it's just the price is going to keep going up, and the Panthers have no choice but to pay it now. The only thing I would say is make it tradable. Pay some money up front if you have to. So if in 2 years you're in the same situation, he has 3 years left on his deal, you can trade that for a whole bunch of value. That's the best advice I can give you.
Okay. Next one. We'll stick with the Carolina Panthers here real quick.
Why not? It's so much fun.
It really is. Some guys that didn't get dealt that are in the final year of their contracts. Jeremy Chinn, Frankie Luvu. Copping or dropping that either one or both of those guys come back. That they are re-signed this offseason.
So I'm copping if it's a yes?
Copping that they will come back, yes.
And any one of them or all of them?
Either or both.
All right, give me the list.
Let's go. Let's go first. Jeremy Chinn. You copping that he returns to the Carolina Panthers?
Dropping it. They're not using him now. And
fair.
First of all, they're not using him correctly.
Well, there's that.
You can go back and
I know he's hurt now, but yeah.
It's on our it's true, but they weren't. On our YouTube page, you can go find it from the preseason. I was excited because the reports out of camp were that they were using Laviska Shenault on offense and Jeremy Chinn on defense as these kind of positionless athletes, right? Jeremy Chinn could have been playing deep safety, could have been coming up and helping in the box as an extra linebacker, could have been man for man or man to man on a tight end or a slot receiver. I loved that they could match up personnel because the way the NFL is going, like the new age tight ends, the Kyle Pitts, the Sam Laportas, you're going to see Brock Bowers next year, is, they don't have to mix up their personnel very often because they have versatile players. I love that from Jeremy Chinn. And then the season started, and they just didn't use him in that kind of versatility. Right? They just didn't use it. So if you're not going to use him enough, he wasn't playing a ton of snaps, and you're not going to use him in the right way, don't bring him back. Mm-hmm. You should have traded him at the deadline, but the injury did complicate that one. I'll give it to you. But it's kind of like now, just what do they say? If you love something, let it go. If it's meant to be, it'll come back.
Yeah. Let
Jeremy Chinn go. If it's meant to be, you can trade for him at the deadline next year. Although I wouldn't expect them to do anything at the deadline. All right, who else? Who's next?
Frankie Luvu.
I would like him to be. I'm going to say yes, he comes back.
Okay.
He seems to have a connection with the area. He seems to have a connection with the fans. And he's really, really effective. And the other thing is, barring some kind of really aggressive sack total, I don't think he'll be that expensive. I think he'll get a pay raise, but I don't think he'll be that expensive. So I'm hoping they bring back Frankie Luvu. So this is part, wishing it into existence, trying to manifest it. But again, if you're not going to trade him, because he could help a contender right now, just as a see-ball, get-ball kind of outside linebacker, edge rusher type. But if you're going to keep him, I hope you keep him and you have a plan for the future with him.